Welcome back everyone. This is another Make a Video Game video series. In this one, we look at a classic Atari 2600 title. So this is Atari's adventure, and the background is, I'm going to read from the manual here, an evil magician has stolen the enchanted chalice and hidden it somewhere in the kingdom. The object of the game is to rescue the enchanted chalice and place it inside the golden castle where it belongs. This is no easy task, as the evil magician has created 3 dragons. Was there any mention of the evil magician before this? Okay, never mind. Has created 3 dragons to hinder you in your quest for the golden chalice. There is Yorgel, the yellow dragon, who is just plain mean. There is Grundle, the green dragon, who is mean and ferocious. And there is Rindle, the red dragon, who is the most ferocious of them all. Rindle is also the fastest dragon and is the most difficult to outmaneuver. Handy to know. There are 3 castles in the kingdom. There's the White Castle, which I'm assuming does delicious sliders, the Black Castle, and the Golden Castle. Each castle has a gate over the entrance. The gate can be opened with a corresponding colored key. Inside each castle are rooms or dungeons, depending at which skill level you are playing. The castles are separated by rooms, pathways, and labyrinths. Common to all the skill levels is the Blue Labyrinth, through which you must find your way to the Black Castle. Skill levels 2 and 3 have more complicated kingdoms. See skill levels below. So that's it. And really, the only thing you can do is you can move up, down, left, and right. I think the fire button drops an item, but it automatically picks things up. You don't need to pick anything up. But it's essentially played with an Atari joystick. Okay, well, without further ado, let's play the game. So this is it in its glory. You probably saw that over the top there. You play as the little blob here that I'm moving from left to right. And you see that we start off in I'm assuming this is the golden castle. And so we pick up the key for that. And we can open up the door now. So we just run up against it. And it opens up. And we see that there's a sword in here. So we just run up against that and we automatically drop the key. And now we can go and battle dragons. You see that the color changes depending on what room you're in. So your little yellow blob now becomes a little green blob. So let's go and go down here. You can't get past these barriers here. But if we go down here, I think there's a dragon in this room. Yep, here we go. So we can slay the dragon. See, just by touching the sword there. And let's go grab the black key. Oops. So we'll grab the black key and we'll drag it over to here. Oh, that will be a dragon. Oh, I'm dead. Well, that was quick. Let's reset that. Why does that reset not work? Reload ROM. There we go. Okay. And reset. No, why is it not working? Reset. Okay, well, you get the idea anyway. There we go. Okay, worked eventually. So the idea is that you solve these puzzles, you get the chalice, you return it back to this castle here, and you win the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recreate this game in Unity. And what that means is that we're going to have to find some way to render the world. To do the flip screen here, we're going to have to do movement between the different worlds. We're going to have to do some kind of AI as well, because we have these dragons here. Oh, we need to actually go and get the sword first, or else we can't defeat that first dragon. So we'll open that up there. And we'll go grab this here. And we'll go kill the dragon. I wonder if you can kill all the dragons first. Like if that's a thing. There we go. Oh no, I don't want to drop it. There you go. Killed the dragon somehow by doing that. So let me drag this all the way over here, and then let's see if we can kill this other dragon. There we go, he's dead now as well. Okay, so if we go up here, I think we can go, oh, this isn't working. Oh no, here we go. There's the bridge. This really is a labyrinth. So we go over the bridge. I think this leads us to the Black Castle. There we go. Okay, so we've killed that. So now we go back for the black key. We've only really got to worry about that other dragon. So all the dragons, I know that looks like a dead duck, but it is actually a dragon. So we go back down to here, and then we can get the key. So now we've got our key. It's a fun little game. Can you imagine playing this in like 1970, whenever it was it came out? This is a fun game. I'm actually really enjoying this. Okay, so a little bit of kind of puzzle solving to get in here. Why can't I get that in there? Well, this is no good. I have the key. Why won't it let me in? Come on. Why won't it let me in? Is it because of the way I picked it up? Oh no. See, unfortunately, you can pick up the bridge, which is not good. Why won't that let me in? That's clearly the Black Castle key. Why? This is no good. Oh, here we go. Oh, there we go. So there's the magnet. There's the chalice. There we go. There's the chalice. Let's go grab the chalice. And let's take it back. Now again, this is the easy skill level, so I mean clearly it's going to get more difficult. Wrong way. The more you play, there's the dead duck again. And then we go up here. Beating the game. I mean, it was on the easy level, but you know, still, that's the game. So that's what that's the goal then, is to get this game done in Unity, and that will start after the fade. So this is my little handy dandy Trello board, and I've added a few things that I think that we need for this particular project. So we need, I've split it into 4 different lists. So player, environment, AI, and UI, in general kind of game things. So on the player list, we've got player movement, which is a must, object pickup, object drop. Those are sort of big ticket items. That's kind of all that you do in adventure, is you run around, pick up items, slay dragons, that kind of thing, and complete the game. Then we have the environment here, so we need to be able to render a room. We need to be able to handle room changes as well, so when the player runs off the right-hand side, they end up on the left-hand side of the screen. Then we have the AI for the different colored dragons, and also the bat on later levels as well, or the more difficult levels. And finally, we have the UI and the sort of general game things that we need to do that no one really wants to do. So the main menu, level select, and then in-game menu. The original game didn't have an in-game menu, but I think because this is a kind of modern take on it, it's going to be 16.9 for a start, so it's not going to be 14.3. So it's not going to be an exact copy. Like we tried to do an exact copy with Frogger. This is not going to be an exact copy. It's going to be 16 by 9. I'm going to redo some of the game, the environment screens, and so on. And maybe we can even get an Easter egg for Warren. Rob, is it? I think it's 2 B's. I think that's how you spell Warren Robinette. Warren Robinette is the original author of Atari Adventure, which is this cartridge right here. There you go. There is Atari Adventure. There you go. That's the edge connector for it, and it works. So unfortunately, I don't have a working Atari, but I know this one does work. I've tried it on a friend's working Atari. But anyway, so that's the game that we're building, and these are the things. This stuff up here is what we're going to be building. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a GitHub project. Now I do this for all my projects. If you go to my profile, you can go to the list of repositories, and if you go to github.com/codehouse, then you'll see a list of all these projects here. And you see we already have one here called Pixie Atari Adventure. I'm going to create a brand new one, and we're going to do one for Unity. So the way we do that is we go click on plus and then click on new repository, and I'm going to call this one Unity Atari Adventure, and this is going to be Atari's classic adventure game written in Unity. I'm going to mark it as public so that everyone can see it. I'm going to initialize it with a README file, and I'm also going to add what's called a git ignore. So if you click on the list down here, if you scroll down, you should get to eventually down here, which is, wait for it, Unity. Okay. And the license I'm going to add is MIT, because I like the MIT license. MIT license is basically, I offer no warranty and no support for this code, but you're free to copy it, modify it, do what you want with it. This bit down here is optional. You don't have to specify a license. You don't have to specify a git ignore, but it does make adding files a little bit easier, and I'll show you why later on in this video. So I don't have a repository template. You can create templates as well, but this is the sort of start here. So we're going to click on create repository, and that's going to take a little bit of time, and eventually we're going to get this here. So this here is the current state of the repository. So there are 3 files inside the repository. One's called gitignore or .gitignore, which will be hidden from view because it starts with a dot. The license agreement, which is the MIT license, and you see it says there copyright 2020 Codehouse. That's fine. Then we also have the README, which is, of course, just this README here. And we're going to add, or I'll add things to the README to make it, to sort of keep up with what we have done here. So it'll be like a kind of diary more than anything else. But you can add other README files and so on there. There's currently only one contributor, which is me, Codehouse. And yeah, that's kind of the sort of basic setup. I'm currently on Windows. I don't use the command line in Windows. I actually use a thing called Commander, which is for Windows. CMDER. It's a great replacement for the terminal, and I recommend you use this. Download the full version. It includes Git for Windows, and there's a really good reason for that, because you'll see here, if I zoom in just a little bit here, you'll see that in this case it's got the list of where you are inside your Git repository. It just makes using Git a little bit easier. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I suggest you do that. So if you go ahead and download that, install it, then instead of using terminal, just use there's a little lambda symbol down here. If you just click on that little lambda symbol, that will then pop up and you will end up inside Commander. And you'll see that I'm inside this current directory here. I'm going to go to switch drives, you just type in the drive letter and then followed by a colon. So I'm going to go to my H drive, that's my home drive. And inside there I have a repositories folder, and I have a GitHub repos folder. If you type in a certain number of letters and then press the tab key, it will complete that for you. So if I just, I know there's a folder called GitHub, but if I type in Git and then press Tab, it fills in the rest for me. So I don't have to keep typing this. This is a nice little shortcut. And then inside here, if I type in ls or dir, if I type in ls, which is more familiar to people with Unix or Linux, or you can type in dir and it gives you the same listing there. I can now type in git clone and then whatever I want to do. Now that's all good and well, but I can actually go up to here and I can click on this pull down, and it's got use git checkout with SVN using the web URL. So if I click on this little copy icon, that will copy it to the clipboard. And if I now type in git clone, so that's git clone, and then I just press the right mouse button, it will automatically paste what's in the clipboard, which is this folder, which is this URL here, and you can see that's GitHub, Codehouse, Unity, Atari Adventure, and then I hit return. It will now create a folder called Unity Atari Adventure. So if I do cd Unity Atari Adventure, and you see that it's now got master origin. I'll explain that in just a second. If I type in dir, you can see that I now have those 3 files that are in here. So I've copied those 3 files from this remote server into my local machine here. And now if I grab a copy of this folder here, I can just highlight it using my mouse and then press Control C a couple of times just to make sure. And now I go into my Unity, and it takes a couple of seconds because it's Unity. There we go, there's Unity Hub. And then I click on New. And I choose 2D because it's going to be a 2D game. I'm going to get rid of this location and I'm going to paste in that new location. And I'm going to call this one Adventure because it's the name of the project. It's Unity Adventure. And then click on Create. This will go ahead and create those files for the Unity project. But if we actually do a dir inside here, you'll see that we now have an adventure folder. And that's where our Unity project lives. Now, it's currently only on the local machine. We need to do some things to get up there. But you notice that our original master login was white and now it's red. And what this means is we're currently on this branch. Now, I'm not going to bother explaining about branches just now, but our current branch is the master branch. And if we go back to our list here, we see we only have one branch. We only have master branch, which is the default branch. And it is set to go to the origin. So when we push to origin, it's going to go back up to our GitHub repo. Now it's white here because there's no changes. We're currently at this point we were an exact copy of the master branch. But because we've made changes here, we've added this adventure by creating this project inside Unity. It's now gone to red. So you can see instantly on your command line what's actually like the state of your GitHub repo, your local GitHub repo, which is awesome. So anyway, ignore that for just now. So now that we've created this project here, we can go into adventure and we can do dir, and we can see that we have all these items in here. So we have library, temp, assets, all that kind of stuff. So if we go and type in git status, so this will tell us the status of the current repo, and you'll see that we have a folder that is adventure. So we can do cd adventure, and then we can do git status. I think we can do dot as well. Let me try dot. Yeah. And that will add everything inside here. Now, we don't actually want everything inside library or temp. We actually want to ignore those ones. So if we go back up to our main folder here, so the Unity Adventure, we can see that we've got git ignore. If we do notepad.git ignore, it's over here. You'll see that it ignores things like library, temp, object build, builds, logs, memory captures. This is our GitHub ignore. So it ignores all the files that are listed inside here. Now, the problem I've found is that it is expecting, you see how it's got slash here? It's expecting these folders to be in the root file. So if you see the root file here, we've got this one directory called adventure, but we don't have any of library. I'll move this to the side here. You can see that we don't have a library, a temp, an object, a build, builds, that kind of stuff. So what we need to do is we need to actually change this git ignore file, and then we do ** at the start of these, and that will ignore everything. The ** is just a way to say, hey, if there's any directory in this entire folder structure that's got library, temp, obj, build, builds, logs, memory captures, ignore them. The downside to that though is we can't have a folder in our game called library now, but really, do we really want a library in there? The alternative is to have adventure library and then change it to that. So you can either have the ** or you can do /adventure, but it's going to be the name of whatever this folder is here. So just a little heads up. I'm going to keep it as, I can't do that because notepad. I'm going to do **, and then just file save, file exit, and then that will have written that file there. Now if we do git status, you'll see that we've actually modified git ignore. So it keeps track of all the changes that you made, which is really cool. So you can do git diff.git ignore, and you can see those changes there. So we've got rid of we've got rid of these and we've added these. So you can see straight away what files have changed. Anyway, that's the sort of git why am I getting Microsoft account problems? Never mind. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to add everything that's inside master as a sort of initial release. So if we do git add adventure ** /* this should add everything. I'm pretty sure it does. There we go. So now if we do git status, it will now say that we have a whole bunch of new files. Now notice that none of the library files have been included. None of the temporary files have been included. Just things inside assets folder, inside the packages folder, which maybe we don't need, but no, actually we do need the packages folder. Yeah, because it's Unity 2019. We also need the project settings. So all of these files are brand new, and we need every single one of these. And we've also modified git ignore, so we need to do git add.git ignore. And that will add all the files. Now to commit this, what we can do is we can do, a commitment is when you say, okay, I've made all the changes I need to this file. I want to then record the file at that state. So I've added all these brand new files here. So I'm going to add, I'm going to commit those to my local repository. So I'm going to use git commit -m, and then I'm going to say initial project setup. Now you need to include it inside quotations, and that will commit everything that's in green here, but nothing that's in the staged area. So if I do, sorry, let me just reiterate that. So if I do git status you'll see that that's all we have. So we've added the git ignore and we've added everything here. So all of this here, the modified file and all these new files will be added to my local repository, not the remote repository. We'll do that in just a sec. So if I do git commit -m initial project setup, and then I hit return, it will add those into there. So you see it's 24 files changed, 1700 insertions, 7 deletions, because we deleted those 7 lines and then we re-added another 7 lines. So again, if I do git status, you'll see that we have nothing to commit, working tree is clean, because the code change has now been frozen at that point. So everything moving forward is now going to be from these different files. So if we want to push this to the remote server and make those changes here, because if I refresh this, you'll see that we still have those 3 files there, but we really want the git ignore file to be updated, and we want the adventure folder to be there as well. So the way we do that is we do git push origin, because we want to push our changes back to the origin server, and we need to tell it what branch to do at that server, and we're going to do master. So we're going to push our changes from the local machine to our origin, our remote machine, on branch master. So we hit return. At this point, you're going to be asked, I've done this before, so you're going to be asked to enter your username and password. You do that once, it will record it for, I think it records it for the repository, but not globally. I may be wrong there. But it is now said, okay, I'm going to go from our local master to our remote master. And you see that our, after we did that commit there, the git status, it went, so when we did our git commit, went from red to white. And so everything is brand new again. And if we go back up to here, we now have our adventure folder, and inside our adventure folder, we have our assets and our scenes, and then our sample scene inside there as well. And that's kind of what I'm going to cover with Unity, with Git just now, but that's how I use Git on a daily basis. So if you see me going into command line and doing adding things, then you'll know what I'm doing. But yeah, that's Git in a kind of nutshell. If you want me to go over, if you want me to do another video on Git and sort of the workflow, then I'm happy to do that as well. So just leave a comment below. But yeah, that's it. Why would you use Git? The nice thing about this is that if my machine blows up, something happens, the hard drive fails, I now have a copy of all my code on a remote server, which is awesome. But it also means that when I use a source control system like Git, I can go into git ignore and I can see that this is the current state of the file, but I can also go to history and I can see when those files have changed. So this is the initial commit here, and then this is the initial project setup. So the initial commit was the creation of the repository, but if I click on this here, this hash over here, you can see the differences that I made to the file in that commit. So you can see that I removed these lines here and I replaced them with these lines here. So you've got this record of the changes that you made to your source throughout the life of the project. It's an awesome thing to do, especially if you're working within teams. I highly recommend it if you are working within teams to use source control. Anyway, on with the show. All right, so first thing I think we'll do is we're going to do player movement. So I'm going to move player movement over into my in progress card, and I'm going to create a folder here called art, and I'm going to go to my trusty Photoshop here, and let me go to just going to go and grab this whole thing here, And I'm going to do File, Export, Export for Web Legacy, and I'm going to make that a PNG. Save it to here as player. And I'm going to do the same for the rest of these. Save. And same for this one. Jealous. Sword. Keys. Okay, and then we got blocks here, which I'm going to leave for just now. The background color is a very, very sexy 170, 170, 170, which is a fetching gray color, which is fine, I guess. You see we have all these items there, sorry. So I'm going to, I can't do them one at a time, can I? No. Is that a sprite? Sprite? What is that? Oh, okay. Sprite. Oh, okay. I think it's because I had them open there. All right, so I want to make them sprite. Pixels per unit. I'm going to make that 8 pixels per unit. Mesh type is tight. Pivot is center. That's okay. I don't want any filter. And I think everything's okay. Sprite 2D 8 single tight center. Okay. Now I'm going to click on apply. Some of these are not single images. Some of these are in fact multiple images. So I'm going to go into sprite editor here. Oh, sorry. I need to do this is multiple, and I click on apply and click on sprite editor, slice, and by count, and it's row, there's only one row, but there are 3 columns. Click on slice, boom, done there, and I'm going to change that to yellow key, white key, and of course black key. Click on apply. That's that done, and then everything else is fine. We are going to have to figure out how to do colors and things, but for now I'm going to drop player on the screen here. Player is quite big. We're probably going to have to zoom out a little bit. That's okay. So instead of size, I think we can do, oh, that's the wrong way, 10. Is that about the same size as this one here? Let's go back to my little Atari thing up here. So this is the there, so that's got to be this size here. So it's probably 12, maybe 16. That seems too small, or does it? I kind of want it nice and kind of power of 2 type thing. So I think 16 is probably a good size. What do the keys look like? Let me see what a key looks like. Let me move that key just out a little bit. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. I think that's okay. Okay, so we need to get rid of that key. I don't need that just now. So this is going to be our player. And we're going to tag them as such. So we're going to tag it as player up there. We're also going to need to have a controller. So I'm going to need to go to assets and create a folder. And call this scripts. And inside here, we're going to have our player scripts. And inside here, I'm going to create one called locomotion. And the locomotion script is going to be very simple. It's just going to be X, Y, Z, X and Z. And that's all we're going to do. So I'm going to drag locomotion onto here. And I'm going to start editing it. So I'm going to add this here. It's hiding behind Unity. Okay, so I'm going to say var x, what am I doing? I'm writing TypeScript again, equals input dot get axis horizontal, and I'm going to multiply that by speed times time dot delta time. Ry equals input dot get axis vertical call times speed. Oh, what's going on here? Speed times time dot delta time. And I'm just gonna have this as private for just now. Private float speed. Oh, we got that wrong as well. Here. Speed. Okay, so speed is going to be, let's say 50 pixels. If x is ABS math f.abs, I'll get this right eventually, x is greater than 0, in other words, they moved, transform dot position plus equals new vector 3 vector 3, and it's going to be x comma 0 comma 0. Actually, I can just do x comma 0 kind of. If math f dot abs y greater than 0, transform dot position plus equals new vector 3 0 comma y. And I mean, I think that's okay for just now. Maybe we'll have to tighten it up a bit. I'm assuming that Atari, I mean, if a 4K Atari with no graphic processing can handle this, I'm pretty sure we can handle this in our game. So this basically means that we have the arrow keys or the WASD keys to move the player. And we'll see how fast that goes. So let's play. That seems quite fast. Yeah, 50 is probably fast. So let's make that 20. Cut it in half. We'll expose this variable in just a sec, just to play around with it. But I think 20 is probably a good place. Yep, that seems okay. Obviously, when they go off the end of the screen, we want that to trigger something. So we'll figure that out. Let's make that public. What is this again? This is the header. No. I can't remember this. Header. Speed. I think that just adds. Yeah, speed. There you go. So this is locomotion variables. So we can actually see what's going to be changed here. So locomotion variable speed, there you go. We're probably not going to have any more than that, but that's okay. That's one script. So I would mark that as done. So we go back to here and go to our Trello board. We can mark that as being done. And that's good. Okay. So I think the next thing we want to do is we want to do object pickup. And object pickup is going to be a little bit trickier. Not much, but a little bit trickier. All right, so for object pickup, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add a rigid body 2D to this shape. And we're going to make it static, simulated, I think. Simulation, start awake, non-interpolate, constraints, freeze position, body type dynamic, kinematic. I think kinematic is the one that we want. So kinematic, yeah, I think kinematic is the one that we want because kinematic is the one that we control. And that's fine. So we need a rigid body on there. We also need a collider. So we need a box collider 2D. So we add a box collider 2D. So if we zoom in on the scene, where's the box collider? We should see the box collider. I'm not seeing it, but as usual, Unity lets me down. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so we want to have an objects thing here. So we're going to have pickups. So I'm going to create a folder called pickups, and this is going to be actually we want to have inventory here as well. So we want to have an inventory. Now the inventory for Adventure is super simple. It has one item and that's it. But we're going to drag and drop that onto the main player anyway. So we'll drag it on up here. So we have our inventory item, we have a rigid body and all that kind of stuff. In fact, we can drag that down just a little bit here. Boom, to there. So we've got all the scripts up there. So that I'm rearranging it so that it's easier for you to see and make sure that anything I do is above me on the bottom here. So, okay. For the pickup, I'm going to drag and drop in a sword here. So, where's my art? So I want to drag a sword into the scene. So I'm going to call this sword, and I'm going to give it a tag. So I'm going to call this pickup, and go back to sword for. I don't know. Okay, Unity, if you're listening, if I've added something as a tag, whatever object I have selected, give it that tag. This has been in since I don't know what version of Unity, but it's just put it in. Anyway, so there's pickup. So I'm marking that as a pickup. I also have to create a script here. So pickup here. So I'm going to create one called pickup. And I'm going to drag that. Why is it not letting me drag that onto sword? So now sword has a pickup. I also need to give it a box collider 2D. And I'm going to mark that as a trigger. So when you enter the trigger for this, then I'm going to put this over here. Let's put it over here. When you enter the trigger for this, you're going to pick it up. So I want it to be slightly bigger than this. So I'm going to move it ever so slightly. And this is where, why can't I see? Yeah, here we go. Okay, so that's the trigger box for there. So If I make this slightly bigger there and slightly bigger here, it's about there. Okay. So just if you enter this, okay. Now for the sword, we need to be able to kill things with it. We'll get to that in just a sec. So this one here is the pickup. We also have to have like a killy part to the sword. I'll get to the killy part of the sword later on when we get to slay dragons. But that's good for us so far. So inside pickup, I want to say void on collision enter 2D. Enter 2D. So I want to find out what the object is. So I want to say if collision dot tag game object dot tag not equal to player return. Else, and then I'm going to say go get that inventory script and add this object to it. So I'm going to say var player equals collision dot game object dot get component inventory. Actually, let's call it player inventory. Player inventory dot pickup. And then this is going to be this. So it can only pick up a pickup object. And if I go to control period, generate method inventory pickup, hit return, and that will automatically create a pickup method for us. And if we press F12 to take us there, you'll see that we have our inventory pickup. Okay. So what do we do inside this pickup? Well, it's super simple. We have our private pickup current item, and we say if current item is not equal to null, we're going to drop the current item. So we're going to say current item dot game object dot set parent transform dot set parent null. Otherwise, we're now going to say so if we have a current item, we're going to drop it. Then we're going to say current item equals pickup current item dot game object dot transform dot set parent, and it's going to be game object just transform actually. So when we pick up an object, it is going to drop the current object and pick up this new object. And all we need to do is just run into it. And then once we run into it, it stays with us until we drop it, which will be the next thing that we do. So if I go to game and click on play, so I'm going to run around here and then I'm going to run into the sword and nothing happens. Who thought nothing was going to happen? Because if you thought nothing was going to happen, you were right. So I'm going to set a break. I'm going to set a breakpoint here, and then I'm going to attach to Unity, and I'm going to see if that hits. But I'm also going to go into pickup, and I'm going to set a breakpoint on here as well. So collision enter 2D. On collision enter 2D. Okay. So that is well, that's just not working. Sword, pickup, Yeah. Okay. Void on. No. What? Oh no, I did it wrong. On trigger enter 2D. Collider 2D. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, let's go to here. So collision, collider 2D, nothing changes. Really, it's just I got the name of the script wrong, or the name of the method wrong. Sorry. For all of you shouting at me, I know. I know. It's fine. I shout at the TV as well. Okay. So press play and run into it. And there we go. We picked up the sword. Sweet. Now, this means, though, that it'll work exactly like the Atari game as well. So if I pick up the sword at an awkward angle, like that, it'll pick up the sword at an awkward angle, which is exactly what we want it to do. Now, if we want to drop it, we're going to use the space bar. So pickup is going to be, inventory is going to be here. So I'm going to say void update. This is public. So void update if input dot get key down get input get button down, and then the button name is fire1, and current item is not equal to null. So if we have something, we want to say drop the current item. And then set the current item to null. So this is also this one here. So if I scroll back over here, object drop, and over here. So if you press the fire button down and you have a current item, then we want you to drop that current item. Okay. So if I press play here, and I run into the sword, so now I've picked up the sword, and then I press the control while moving to the left, it will drop it. There we go. Pick it up again, drop it. Okay, cool. It's a bit sticky. It's not letting go. So it's working, but it's not working. So on trigger, enter 2D. Let's put a cooldown on this. Let's do public float cooldown equals 250. So it's 250 milliseconds. And I'm going to say private bool is cooldown. So if it's that, or it is cooling down, return private, excuse me, void update. If is cooldown, actually, let's not do void update. Let's do start coroutine cooldown. Cooldown. Enumerator. seconds, and this is going to be cooldown divided by 1,000. Is cooldown equals true. So this is going to set cooldown to be true. It's going to wait for X number of or the number of milliseconds. So let's do cooldown ms so that people know it's in milliseconds. Could have made it seconds. And we're going to wait for that number of seconds, and then we're going to mark it as being not in the cooldown. So is cooldown, if it is cooldown, then we return, otherwise we do that there. Okay, and then we need to do the same thing for the drop as well, don't we? So this is pickup. No, I don't think we did. No, I think we're okay for that. So if we do, so even if I do this, no, that should be, no, it's still, like that bit there is working, but, and when you run away it's working. But if you release and move right, it shouldn't pick up. So actually, if we're picking it up, wait a minute, why is this? Let me just think here. So we get player inventory, we go grab player inventory, we pick up that item, and then we start the cooldown. Let's say it starts, oh, okay, let's mark that as being cooldown true to be here. Because I think what happens is this start coroutine actually starts in the next frame. So the cooldown, so if I do, no, still sticky. What if I make it a minute? So I do, oh, if I make it a second, I wonder what happens now. No, it's still not working. Why are you not working? So when you do the inventory, it picks up the item, sets to be that, but it should only pick it up if this is not in the cooldown. So if we're picking this up, cooldown is going to be true. Wait for seconds and that to be false. What if we did print done? So if we do print done, do we see print done appearing really quickly after we press the fire button? Yeah, it's almost instantaneous. Well, that's no good. Time equals Times greater than 0. We'll return null. Delta time, you'll return null. Blah, 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 blah. Comment that out. Okay. Huh. It's still sticking to it. This is the weird thing. So that was 8 there. That makes no sense. Why is this? So 8. So it's currently at 8 here. Where's my cursor? So it's 8 there. So if I do, like, why is it? I didn't even press the control there. Because it's entering it, that's why. Okay, I don't think this cooldown thing is working at all. Let me just take this out here. I don't think it's a good idea anyhow. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So if it's not the player, then return. Inventory condition. And we pick up this. So if I do F12, if current item equals pickup, return. So don't pick up the same item. So we don't want to release it, we don't want to give it up, we just want to continue as normal. So we don't want to do that. I'm not entering. I'm already entered. I wonder if it's worth actually disabling the, like, once, see, I don't want to, these little games, man. Okay, so we don't need locomotion, we need pickup and inventory. So pickup and inventory. Should we combine this into 2? Should we have the trigger on the player? Maybe that's a better idea. Maybe that is a better idea. Okay, let's do that. Let's swap it around. What if we had inventory? Okay, update, blah, blah, blah. And we had, so if it's not the same as pickup, did I call it pickup or pick up? Pickup, okay. So it's not the same as pickup, then return. I'm not interested in it. Actually, let me just do that as equals that. And then I'll just want to do pickup. Home. And then this is going to be collision dot GameObject dot get component pickup. So I want to add that to the pickup. But then I want to disable, I want to disable this for a little bit. So, oh, okay, let's see if this still works. So pickup doesn't contain anything now, so we can just get rid of that. So pickup is just a blank thing. It's just a thing to pick up. We might have additional information in there, like, you know, you picked up the sword. Maybe we could put in metric. Actually, that's a good idea. Environment, player metrics. It's like, how many times do you pick up the sword? Do you pick up the sword, immediately drop it? What do you do? So yeah, so this is still working as is. I press that, move the cursor out the road, and I do that. Okay, so that's still working the same way as it was. Okay, I don't mind where the code goes. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. So this inventory here is going to do this. So I'm going to pick up this object here. Now I'm going to say if that equals pickup, and let me do equals that. Our new item equals that. If new item equals current item, return, else pick up new item. So I'm not going to pick up current items. So it's not going to constantly pick up items if I keep going slightly in and out of the there. I'm not entering that though. Like I'm already in there. I don't understand why it's doing enter. Like it doesn't make any sense why it's entering it. Because it's on trigger enter, not on trigger stay. So this might be a problem for another day. In fact, I'm going to replay Atari's adventure and see if this is what happens. I'm pretty sure it just picks it up, and then when you drop it's not quite as sticky. Okay. Well, it's picking up objects. Let's get another object in here. Let's pick up a key. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go to art, and I'm going to pick up. I'm going to drag the black key in there, and I'm going to call this black key. And I'm going to call this pickup, and I need to give it a collider. What's collider 2D? What's collider 2D? And again, I need to give it slightly bigger. That one there, and that one there, and it is a trigger. And I'll put this way over here, and maybe down here. Okay, so that's that there. So I'm going to go to here. Oh yeah, I need to mark it as pickup, don't I? So this is going to be a pickup as well. Okay. And so I'm going to pick up the black key, and then I'm going to pick up the sword. Bingo! So if I run into this, do I... No, that's not right. It's okay on that level, but not so much on that level. Okay, well, I mean it's... And I can drop it as well, so I can do this thing here where I drop it. And I can Drop that one there as well. And pick up that key. Perfect. Okay. I mean, it's not perfect. There's still a couple of bits that are not quite so good. But yeah, I'm okay with that. I think we can leave the video there. Well, there we go. We've got player movement and we have object pickup. It's not quite right as usual, but we'll tidy these things up as we go. We're just trying to get the sort of major mechanics in there, but that's a good start anyway for the video. So we've done quite a bit in this video. We've done the GitHub introduction. We've done the project setup for the GitHub. We've done the Trello board, and we've got player movement and object pickup all in the one video. So a good start to the adventure program. I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, thumbs up. If you're not, thumbs down. Let me know in the comments either way. And thank you for watching these videos. It means a lot, and I hope you get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And I will catch you in the next one. Thank you again. Bye bye.